and welcome to Lifted Lotus Yoga. My name is Lacey, and as always, it's an honor to be your guide. In this practice, I'll be guiding you through a deep stretch, slow flow. We'll be moving mainly through the shoulders and the hips, focusing on holding the postures for an extended amount of time with activation so we can get into the meat of the muscle. There's no props necessary for this practice. Just roll out your mat, find yourself into the middle of it, and I'll meet you there whenever you're ready. Once you've rolled out your mat, found yourself into the middle of it, go ahead and cross your legs one in front of the other. Settle down into your sit bones. Rise up through the crown of the head as you gently draw the belly button in. And allow yourself to just settle into your body here. Reeling your energy in, using your breath as that focal point for that energy. Begin to just notice what your breath feels like as you sit here. Without trying to change it or manipulate it in any way, notice the inhale and the exhale in their natural states. Now start to deepen the breath, letting in the inhales get a little longer and the exhales a little deeper. Maybe slowing the breath down now. Taking your time to get through each part of the breath. Now let's really welcome the mind into the body. Exhale everything through the nose. Take a big inhale, fill up through the belly, expand into the ribs. And then open your mouth and let it all out. Let's do that one more time. Big inhale. Long exhale. Next inhale, circle sweep the hands high to the sky and grab opposite elbows or forearms overhead. Feel a broadening happen in the upper back, in the shoulders. Take an exhale, drop the elbows over towards the right as you stretch to the left side of the body. Inhale slowly to center, and exhale, start to tilt over to the left, gently pulling the elbows down towards the left, stretching out through the right side of the body. Inhale, come to center. Release the left hand from the right elbow, drop the right hand behind the head, and bring the left hand onto the right elbow once again. Gently pull the right elbow towards the left side. Keep the spine nice and long and straight, belly button drawn in. Press the back of the head into the right forearm, keeping it nice and long. Take another breath. Perfect. Next, inhale, reach both hands nice and high. And as you exhale, swing the hands around behind you, interlacing your fingers at the small of your back. Broaden up the heart by gently pulling the knuckles towards the earth. Take another inhale, pull the hands away from the low back, and as you exhale, pull the fists over towards the right hip. Now gently draw the elbows towards each other. Take an inhale, lengthen through the crown of your head, and as you exhale, bring the right ear towards the right shoulder, pulling away from the left shoulder, feeling an opening through the left side of the neck, into the shoulder, the chest. And maybe you'd like to play around with the movement of the chin. You can draw the chin away from the left shoulder as well, and maybe even open the mouth to get into the jaw. Let's hold for another 3 rounds of breath. Maybe we close the eyes, maybe we keep them open with a very gentle gaze. One more breath. Inhale yourself back to center, bringing the hands back around behind you at the small of the back. Take another inhale, take your gaze to the sky, and as you exhale, tuck your chin and slowly round forward. Bringing the hands up and away from the small of the back, feeling an opening through the heart as you tuck your chin in. Beautiful. Take another round of breath. Inhale, slowly roll yourself back up. Release the fingers behind you and shake out the hands. As you shake out the hands, crisscross the legs opposite. So bring the opposite leg in front. Rest the hands down onto the lap, settle back into your sit bones. Take an inhale, circle, sweep the hands high to the sky, and again, grab opposite elbows overhead. Keep a nice straight line, crown of the head lifts to the sky, tailbone pushes into the earth, belly button draws in. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, gently tilt to the right, feeling that opening through the left side of the body again, stretching through the intercostal muscles along the rib cage. Inhale back to center. Exhale, tilt over to the left. Same idea, stretching out through the right side of the rib cage. Inhale back to center. Drop the left hand behind you, right hand onto the left elbow. Feeling that opening through that left shoulder, gently pulling through the right hand towards the right side of the room, keeping the back of the head pressing into the left forearm. Belly button still drawn in. Take another rounded breath. Perfect. Next inhale, reach both hands nice and high. As you exhale, swing the hands down and around behind you. Counterintuitively interlace the fingers, so make it feel weird. Draw the knuckles down towards the earth. Take an inhale, gaze to the sky. As you exhale, bring your hands over to the left hip, squeezing the elbows towards each other. Perfect. Take another inhale, and as you exhale, left ear towards the left shoulder, creating that space through the right side of the neck this time. Again, you can move around the chin, maybe pulling the chin away from the right shoulder, maybe opening the mouth, getting into the jaw. Just a couple more breaths here. Next inhale, bring the head and the hands back to center, but keep the interlacing with the fingers. Take another inhale, broaden the heart, gaze to the sky. As you exhale, tuck the chin, start to round forward, lifting the hands away from the small of the back, up towards the back top corner of the room. Feel that opening through the shoulders, spreading of the collarbones. Take another breath. Inhale, slowly start to roll yourself back up. Pull the knuckles towards the ground, gaze to the sky, and release the knuckles. Swing the arms, wiggle the hands, whatever feels good. Go ahead and roll over the legs or swing them to one side and make your way into a tabletop pose, finding the wrists below the shoulders and the knees below the hips. Take the feet out straight behind the knees so they're not V'd in towards each other. Draw the belly button in, spread the hands out onto the mat, spreading the fingers, feeling all four corners of the palms rooting down into the earth. If having your wrists down like this bothers your wrists, you can always come onto your fists, bringing the fists right below the wrists instead of having that angle there. Choosing your option, whatever works best for you. Again, draw the belly button slightly in and take an inhale, sway the belly down, gaze and hips rise up for your cow pose. Exhale, tuck the chin, round the back towards the sky, tuck the hips, coming into your cat pose. Inhale, sway the belly down, gaze and hips rise up, cow. Exhale, round into your cat as you tuck the chin, tuck the hips, and press into the hands. Go one more time in your cat-cow, inhaling into your cow, and exhaling to your cat. Inhale, gently come back to center. And we're going to come into what's called melting heart pose or Anahata Asana. Go ahead and keep the hips above the knees and start to walk the hands out in front of you, melting your heart towards the earth. You can bring your forehead down to the mat, or if your mobility or flexibility allows, you can bring the chin down to the mat. It's just whatever works for you and your body. But again, keep the hips above the knees and let there be a slope to the spine as the heart melts towards the earth. Take about 3 more rounds of breath here. Deep opening through the underarms, the chest. Last breath. Next, inhale, slowly lift the heart away from the ground and start to walk the hands back under the wrists, or back under the shoulders. Perfect. Press down through the hands, press down through the left knee, and extend the right leg long behind you. Curl the toes in towards the knee as you draw the belly button in, and exhale, crunch in, knee to nose. As you pull in, I'd like you to just swing that right foot all the way through and in between the hands, coming into a low lunge. Keep your hands to the outer edges of your right foot. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, walk yourself back into a halfway splits, extending the right leg long in front of you, and maybe bringing the sit bone down to rest on the left heel. Curl the right toes in towards the knee. Take a big inhale, keep the spine nice and straight, and lead forward with the heart. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold. Feeling a nice deep stretch down the back of that right leg into the hamstring. I think we're creating length there. You can have a slight bend in that right knee if you really need it, no worries. 3 more breaths. Last breath here. Next inhale, start to pull yourself forward into your low lunge once again. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee up, and spin your left foot down to the mat to where it's parallel with the back of the mat. Coming into side angle, bring your right arm onto your right knee, your right elbow onto your right knee. Push into that right elbow, and inhale, reach the left hand high, stacking the shoulders on top of each other. Press into that right arm. Make sure you stay strong through that right side body. Draw the belly button in. Feel strong through the heart, strong through the legs. Beautiful. Using one single breath, with an inhale, start to sweep the right hand up and back as you come into a reverse warrior. Stay low in the lunge on that right knee as you extend through the right side of the body and lengthen that left arm down the left leg. Take another breath. Next inhale, straighten through the front leg, extended reverse. And as you exhale, arms come to a T. Prepping for our Trikonasana, our triangle pose, take an inhale, reach towards the front of the room. As you exhale, bring your right fingertips to meet your right shin and stack the shoulders once again. Lengthen up tall through the left fingertips. Draw the belly button in, reach forward through the crown of the head. Gaze can be to the side, down to the earth, or up towards the top hand. Whatever feels good for you and your neck. Engage your front leg and ungrip your toes from the mat so you're pressing through all 4 corners of the feet. Take another breath. Big inhale. And as you exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the top of the mat. Heel toe your right foot to the outer right side of the mat and drop down onto your left knee, coming into lizard pose. You can choose to stay on your hands here, or maybe come down onto your forearms if that feels good to you. We're going to stay for about 10 rounds of breath. And in those 10 rounds of breath, I'd like you to focus deeply on the breath, taking big inhales and long exhales. Maybe you choose to close the eyes or find one single point focus for those eyes to focus on. Just reached our halfway point with 5 more rounds of breath left. And the last 2 here. Next inhale, rise up onto the hands if you aren't already, and just simply stretch that right leg long behind you. Stretch it as far as it'll go, keeping the left knee down onto the mat. And then exhale, bring that right knee back to the earth, tabletop pose. Let's just take a cat-cow in between sides. So inhale, sway the belly down, gaze and hips rise up. Exhale, tuck the chin, tuck the hips, round the back, cat pose. Inhale, sway back into a centered tabletop. Press through the hands, press through the right knee, and extend the left leg long behind you. Curl the toes in towards the knee, and exhale, crunch in knee to nose. Step that left foot in between the hands. Prepping for our half splits, take a big inhale, and as you exhale, walk yourself back into that halfway splits, bringing that sit bone to hover or sit right onto the right heel. Curl the left toes in towards the knee. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, start to fold over that left leg, just enough to where it feels a good deep stretch. As you keep reaching the heart forward, spine stays straight. Let's take another 3 or 4 more rounds of breath to really get deep into the pose. Two more rounds of breath. Inhale, start to pull yourself forward. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee up, and spin your back foot down to the mat to where it's parallel with the back of the mat. Invite your left elbow onto your left knee, and inhale, reach the right hand high, coming into our side angle on the other side. Press down through that left elbow, getting nice and strong through the left side body. Spark life up through the right fingertips. Feel nice and strong and grounded through both of the legs. Pull the belly button in strong in your core. And remember, we're going to move with our breath. So with your next inhale, start to swing the left hand up and back, coming into your reverse warrior. Remember to stay low in the lunge on that left knee, strong in the legs. Strong in the core. Right arm runs down the back of the right leg. One more breath. Next, inhale, straighten through the front leg, extended reverse. Exhale, arms come to a T. Preparing for our Trikonasana. Inhale, reach towards the front of the room. Exhale, left fingertips find the left shin. Right hand reaches high as you stack the shoulders again for your triangle pose. Draw the tailbone down as you reach the crown of the head high. Stay engaged through the core for another round of breath. Big inhale, and as you exhale, bend into the front knee as you cartwheel the hands down. Come to the inside of that left foot and start to heel toe the left foot to the outer left side of the mat, bringing the right knee down. Coming into your lizard pose. Remember, you can stay on the hands or you can come down onto the forearms. You have about 10 rounds of breath here. Allow yourself to just sink into the posture, maybe closing the eyes, or again, keeping them open but finding something to focus on. About 5 rounds of breath left. Last 2 here. Next inhale, start to rise onto the hands if you aren't already. And just simply slide that left leg back, long behind you, keeping the right knee down onto the mat, lengthening the left leg as far as it'll go, and then exhale, releasing the left knee back to the earth. Let's take a cat-cow. Inhale, sway the belly down, gaze and hips rise. Exhale, sway the belly up, gaze and hips tuck. Inhale, come back to center. Bring the toes to touch behind you. Sit bones rest onto the heels. Separate the knees about as wide as your rib cage and come into a child's pose. Taking just about 3 more rounds of breath in your child's pose. And the last breath here. Next inhale, roll yourself back into your tabletop pose. Swing your feet around to one side of your mat and bring your sit bones back as you scoot yourself into the middle. Find the soles of the feet onto the mat, knees point up towards the sky. We're going to come into a variation of figure 4 sitting up. I'd like you to identify the left ankle and cross your left ankle over your right knee. Now, if you need to, you can bring the right foot further away from you, making this less intense. That's perfectly fine. If you want to intensify it, you can slide that right foot closer towards the right glute, and maybe even come onto the fingertips and press your heart towards that left shin. Curl the left toes in towards the knee, and let's take about 5 or 6 deep rounds of breath. Three more rounds. Last breath here. Now keep the legs just as they are, and with your next exhale, I'd like you to slowly lower yourself all the way onto your back. Bring your arms out wide into a cactus or a T. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, drop the legs over to the right. You can choose to keep your chin at center or softly turn the chin to the left. Staying here for about another 10 to 12 rounds of breath. Again, you can choose to close the eyes or you can keep them open and find something to focus on. No matter how you have your eyes, allow your focus, your face, to be very soft. I like to pretend that twists are like a way of wringing myself out, both physically and energetically. I'm twisting through the low back, through the guts. Maybe even twisting through the upper back, the neck. Feeling myself wringing out just like a dirty washcloth. Wringing myself out of all the kinks, the tension and the stress that I have physically. But also wringing myself out of all the negative, unwanted emotions that I no longer want to carry. Let's take just about 3 more rounds of breath, wringing ourselves out this direction. Last breath. With an inhale, bring your chin back to center. Listen carefully. Bring your left foot onto the inside of your right knee, and then slide your left foot down the inside of the right leg until your feet can meet and your knees fall open into bound angle Baddha Konasana on your back, or Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle. Knees are falling out wide, feet are touching. You can flutter the knees, wiggle the hips a little bit here if you'd like. You can also find total stillness and just way into the pose. Bring your hands to the outsides of the thighs and gently guide the knees back together. Hug your knees in towards your chest, give yourself a good squeeze, and then bring your hands to the back of your knees. Go ahead and start to rock yourself up and down just a couple of times. And then find yourself sitting once again, knees pointed to the sky. And then we come into our other side of our figure 4 seated variation. So go ahead and identify that right ankle and cross the right ankle over the left knee. Curl the right toes in towards the knee if you need to. Adjust the left foot to where it's either further away or closer towards your left sit bone. Both options are best. It's just whatever is more comfortable in your body. You can choose to keep the hands where they are or maybe cupcake onto the fingertips, whatever feels good to you. Now let's take those 5 or 6 big, deep rounds of breath. Knowing that this is so good for the sciatic nerve, the piriformis muscle, great for the low back. And it's also building up arm strength as you're holding yourself up with your arms. Compression into the low belly. 3 more breaths. Perfect. When you're ready, go ahead and start to lower yourself down onto your arms and then eventually onto your back. Take your arms out wide into that cactus or T. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, let the legs, just as they are, fall over to the left. You can choose to keep the chin at center or softly turn it to the right. And again, fall into the twist, knowing that it has so many wonderful benefits for the mind and the body. Maybe even envisioning yourself like that washcloth, getting wrung out. About 5 more rounds of breath. Go ahead and bring that right foot to the inside of the left knee. Slide the right foot down the inside of the left leg. Bring your chin to center as the soles of the feet meet and your knees fall wide. Finding that last Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly pose. And you can keep your arms out wide in that cactus or T, or find a different variation for your arms here. All options are best. Taking just about 3 more rounds of breath here. Bringing the hands to the outsides of the thighs, gently guiding the knees back together. Go ahead and extend the right leg long, extend the left leg long, and come into your Shavasana. Bringing your arms down by your sides, adjusting your body to where you feel nice and comfortable. You can choose to lay on your back, on your side, on your belly in Shavasana. It's wherever is best for you. But no matter where you find yourself, find stillness. Let yourself capture this place of non-movement, letting the only movement come from you that's automatic, like your breath, your heartbeat. Taking a time to soften the face a little bit, soften the shoulders and the heart, soften the belly and the low back. Allow the legs and the arms to soften all the way down to the toes and the fingertips. Shavasana is a sacred space, so please feel free to lay here as long as you'd like. Before you get up and move on with your day, please know in your heart that the divine light in me sees and honors the divine light within you. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide. Namaste.